All right, AR 605, 655, Army driving motor vehicle and licensing, basically. Chapter 2 driver categories. 2.1 application for the certification of the driver. Administrative tactical emergency vehicles will complete the prescribed training is equal to the greater than listed under the licensing requirement table 2.1. Before taking the performance test on the vehicle, application will operate. No one will operate the vehicle unless properly licensed commissioned officers and the warrant officer may be tested and licensed at the request. Civilians may be referred to as the testing station by the civilian personnel officer in connection with the examination appointment of the official personnel management position requiring operation of the Army motor vehicles and equipment. Contractor personnel will refer to the testing station supervision upon appointment and contractual positions required for the operation of Army motor vehicles and equipment. 2.2. The user driver's no exception regulation will be made for the case of persons regularly operating vehicles equipment in the connection with other work incident to other duties. A person employed as either as a part-time or full-time operator for the Army must successfully complete the appropriate series as required testing. 2.3 successful drivers or civilian 2.3 civilian drivers successful completion of the office personnel management requirements adequate civilian application who are required to drive tactical or special military equipment performance procedures contained and so closely parallel the office personnel management requirements duplicating performance terrain testing should not be necessary and a person who is initially meets the office of personnel management motor vehicle operator appointment requirements that has passed either the Army or the office of personnel management road test qualified employment of the DA driver OPM. The requirements of the operational government motor vehicle include 1. An experience requirement, 2. A safe driving record, 3. A practical road test, and 4. Possession of valid driver's license issued and stated by the state or District of Columbia or possession of commissarial or principal employed. When operator or applicant is concerted with the position required for the operation other than administrative commercial vehicles and a performance test procedure will impose in such cases that the place special additional requirements must be stated in the position description must be before appointment. Contractors, employees, and civilians appointed under direct hire in the absence of the office personnel management registers, and in the case of reinstatement, position change, the transfer to non-competitive job appointment must be comply with the provisions of this regulation. 2.4 physically handicapped persons. Certain physical handicaps will be compensated for the corrected so they are along the not sufficient grounds in refusal of standard license. Other handicaps may restrict the individual operation of specific vehicle or equipment under specific conditions. The DA Form 348 and SF 46 will announce which such restrictions. Provisions of an AR 750 10 apply to concerned modifications, vehicles, equipment, and when handed on controls of other drivers, the aided device necessary. A medical restriction will be noted in the individual's personal file. The driver's operator responsibility physically handicapped person are the same as those other licensed drivers and operators. 2.5. The foreign national driver. The paragraph applies to the foreign nationals employed with the Army drivers' equipment, the military personnel, allied armies operating U.S. Army vehicles and equipment, prisoners of war, and prisoners of war. Because language barriers and local driving customs connected with the employment of the foreign drivers, the translation and adaptation of the basic tracing material may be necessary. However, such a translation and adaptations are not based on the research adequacy, translation, adaptation, and responsibility for the appropriate area of the command. In the connection of the following guidance established in this publication, translated the operator selection and licensing testing. 1. The published booklet of licensing test will be contained with no reference in the Department of the Army, but will be identified in the Army area of the command. In lieu that such a reference to the following statement will be printed in the cover of each booklet, translated from the DA form in accordance with the with AR 655, paragraph 2.5. Note that they may be reproduced without permission, appropriate area command. The DA form numbers, the DA pamphlet numbers, DA personnel record testing, personal research tests will not be used for the designation. 3. To the extent of possibility, order items and each test will be rotated and compromise official scoring key. This such adaptation to forward to the U.S. Army Military Personnel Center, the DAPC MSPTC, Auxiliary Virginia 23320-400 for reference possible use elsewhere. Limitations imposed by the foreign operators matter of security will be stated on the permits enforced in accordance with the paragraph 5D on the limited permits. Agreements of the Allied armies regarding joint employment of the U.S. Army vehicle equipment and operators will incorporate the essential features of the regulation and approved by the Headquarters Department of the Army, DAP, HRS, Washington, D.C. 20310-0300. 26. Contractor employed by the other service operators. The following applies to the non-Army operated military installation. When the control employee operators are used in the statement, which include the basic contract agreement provisions of regulation, apply. Valid permits to the active members of the U.S. Army military service government agencies be honored. A matter of the courtesy, the local commander will ensure that such personnel are aware of local requirements. Chapter Table 2.2 shows the licensing standard permit. Army standard permit applies for the military civilian interview. Applicable test, physical measuring test with the minor physical defects of correctable nature, and physical performance tests for all series of identical administrative vehicles of 10,000 pounds, motor vehicles, moped, mechanical ground support ground support equipment, or vehicles with standard transmissions. Army learner, driver's trainee also goes for the interview, the applicable testing, physical measures. Army incidental, occasional drivers. The interview is a high performance safety for 1 year, with a physical measure and a performance test that is for all serious tactical and vehicles, administrative vehicles above 10,000 pounds, motorcycles, mopeds, mechanical ground support vehicles, and standard transmissions. Army limited, physical limited prisoner drivers interview, applicable testing, physical measures, and performance tests with a medical certificate. Army experts and exceptional qualified drivers are interviewed, acceptable tests, physical measures, and performance tests issued on recognition of merit. Chapter 3.